Session continues, and the Florida Legislature has gone haywire. In this edition, the Florida House and Senate wreak havoc on the source code of Florida's democracy, attempt to uninstall frontline workers' constitutional rights, and more. The battle continues as Florida's working people continue the fight, both in Tallahassee and throughout cyberspace in this edition of the Florida AFL-CIO Legislative Update. House Bill 1, Combating Public Disorder, continues its onerous onslaught on our rights to freely assemble and make our voices heard. Having already passed the Florida House, the bogus bill was heard in the Senate Appropriations Committee.
On behalf of the League of Women Voters, let me just say that we believe this bill is anti-protest, anti-First Amendment, and anti-American. We believe it's not necessary. We already have laws on the books to address rioting, insurrection, treason, assault, and battery. The rights to protest and express dissent is foundational to our government.
A recent study estimated the incarceration costs, if this bill passes, to range between $6.6 to $17.5 million per year. When I moved to Pinellas County 5 years ago, I hoped to move to a state full of opportunities, not a state that lessens opportunities by giving out felonies.
The purpose for protesting is to bring about real change, to disrupt the status quo, to bring attention, awareness, to bring the light of equity to the darkness of injustice, to motivate movement from stagnant discrimination, to interrupt unfairness and cause an eruption of justice.
Protests will never be comfortable, but it's not our responsibility to put in statute.
Despite a marathon hearing where hundreds of Floridians bravely spoke out about this assault on our freedoms, House Bill 1 passed the Senate Appropriations Committee 11-9. As a citizen, you are entitled to vital data about your elected officials. House Bill 1207 would lock out voters from crucial information, which keeps our leaders accountable and Florida's democracy in high definition.
When you run for office, it's called public office, so we become public officials. And so I am just in the stance of I don't like to feel like, and that's what I think this is doing, creating a tier of people, not in a sense an elitist form of people. And I don't want to have to go back to my constituents and tell them that I'm elitist, because I'm not. And that's the way this feels. So with that, I'll be voting down today.
Any other members in debate?
House Bill 1207 ironically passed the Public Integrity and Elections Committee 11-3. The bill continues on to the State Affairs Committee. Senate Bill 50, Taxation, has continued to blaze through the Florida Legislature. The bill would begin enforcing the collection of sales taxes on internet sales in the name of improving Florida's unemployment system. Instead, it would raise the taxes of Florida's working people just to give mega corporations yet another handout, allowing them to dodge paying their fair share.
I can promise you they will simply see it as a cash grab by politicians. It will be a tax hike to them, whether or not it's on the books as we currently stand. You can do all the oral gymnastics you like, and I am a fan, but this bill makes sure that $1 billion is to be taken from our constituents' back pockets. And rightfully, they will not care about the equivocations stated yesterday and today. But there is an aspect to this bill that may anger them for another reason than that simple $1 billion in tax. This bill, members, in my estimation, is robbing Peter to pay Peter. The way this legislation is written, workers will be footing a very specific bill, but that is how regressive taxation works. Those with the least to give will have to give the most. But they won't just be taxed for a nebulous increase. It will be very specifically to bail out the state's abysmal failed unemployment system. That man-made swamp millions of Floridians had to and continue to trudge through. So, if your policy bingo has forced people failed by the state's unemployment system to pay for the failed unemployment system, congratulations, I guess you get a square.
Yes, I know there's talks always that small businesses are the lifeline of our economy and of our great state. But again, as I always say, the workers are the blood, the sweat, and tears of those businesses. And unfortunately, I cannot stand up in support of this bill today because much like my colleague, Representative Jenny stated, this is really a tax, a regressive tax on workers.
And now those folks are going to be paying more in taxes, including our seniors who are on a fixed income. And the fact that they don't get anything back in return for this tax increase is something that we should all be concerned about.
Disappointingly, the bill was passed by a bipartisan majority in the House, 93-24. It now heads over to Governor DeSantis' desk to be signed into law. The attacks on Florida's frontline heroes continue. Senate Bill 84, retirement, would needlessly reformat Florida's retirement system, blocking new state employees from joining, putting our economy and public frontline workers' retirement security at risk of a complete shutdown.
This is going to be quite a ride.
Senators, I'm afraid that this is simply a solution in search of a problem. Florida has a long history as one of the best managed retirement systems in the country. It's a $164 billion fund that serves over 1 million members, active and retired teachers, firefighters, law enforcement officers, public health officials, emergency management officials, the staff in this building that serves us so well every single day. We talked a lot about this yesterday, and Senator Rodriguez says that the purpose of this bill is to create a generational change so that we can keep the promises we've made. And I'm sure everyone in this chamber agrees with that goal. Unfortunately, I don't think this bill allows us to do that, and I'm afraid it could actually jeopardize our ability to keep those promises.
The argument, though, about the unfunded liability and the percentage of where we find ourselves fails with me. If any one of us made a run on the bank today, I mean, reserve requirements, which I'm sure you know what they are, have been relaxed a little bit in the past couple of years. But if we all made a run on the bank today, they don't have cash on hand to pay us out what we have in our accounts. If we had a massive hurricane that wiped out Florida, our insurance companies don't have the money on hand to pay out all the claims. That's where the argument fails. That's why I'm a no vote.
Just moving to a 401k being the equivalent is just not borne out by the facts. If you took an employee who went into an alternate plan, a 401k plan, after 30 years of service at a 6% return rate, that employee would be left with a grand total of about $260,000 to retire on. That's not enough. Not even close to enough. It's a fraction of what they would get out of the FRS system. We're breaking our promise.
Senate Bill 84 was passed by the Florida Senate 24-16. It will now move to the Florida House for consideration.
It is purpose that created us, purpose that connects us, purpose that pulls us, that guides us, that drives us. It is purpose that defines, purpose that binds us. We are here because of you, Mr. Anderson. We're here to take from you what you tried to take from us.
Senate Bill 1014, Employee Organizations, continues to menace Florida's educators. This week, the bill was temporarily postponed, but the threat still remains. This bill and its House counterpart, HB 835, would fragment our educators' right to advocate for their schools and students. Members of the Florida Education Association made their voices heard and spoke out against the virtual insanity.
We are FEA! And we're here in Tallahassee today. Teachers, support staff, and higher ed professors from all over the state. We came here today to testify before our committee on 2 bills that look to take away the freedom of public workers in the state of Florida. Those bills, because we came, have been temporarily postponed. Now that's a good thing, but how good it is, we don't know yet, but we'll find out. So why don't we hear from some of the folks that are with us.
Teachers know what we're doing, administrators know what they're doing, and we know how to best serve our students. We honestly don't need so many legislators stepping in and trying to tell our schools what to do.
With just weeks to go, the Florida Legislature is scrambling to ram through their malware and crash our fair state's democracy. Members of the Virtual Working Families Lobby Corps continue to take a stand for the people of Florida, in person and through the power of the World Wide Web.
I'm encouraging everybody to do your part at home. This virtual lobby corps will give you the opportunity to meet with your representatives in their home locations. Take the time, make the effort. There's several bad bills that are going through that are attacking our teachers, our public sector, their pensions. Please do your part at home, and we'll see you hopefully next year in Tallahassee. Thank you.
Week 6 has come to a close, but the digital danger is far from over. In the meantime, fire up your CPU, grab your keyboard, and log on to www.afl-CIO.org and power up to fight back against these heinous hacks on our freedoms. Log on next week for more updates from Tallahassee.